Very good morning to you. It is 7 a.m. Tuesday, November 25th, 2025 of Thanksgiving week. Welcome to ONNJ Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato taking calls at 888-658-0234. Clouds today, occasional rain in the afternoon, highs in the low 50s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has your holiday week Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
We start off today a little bit gray, a little damp, a little chilly, 37
Mm-hmm.
degrees, and it's but at least we're not getting sn. Oh, I can't say the word.
Not
Sn.
yet. Not yet. I think there's some surprises coming up on the future cast that may shock you, especially not only when you see the temperatures first, the wind chill, that's another thing, but the chance of flurries and the flurry bursts that are forecast with some snow squalls by Friday. Saw those on the map this morning. Went, oh, a little too soon. Take a look at temperatures right now, and we're chilly, but not terribly cold. Temperatures start off just above freezing right now. 45 in Newark, a little bit milder there. Over toward the coast, 43 in Long Branch. It is that wind chill that makes it feel a touch cooler, especially down the shore, 37 right now in Toms River. Now, today's winds primarily coming off of the water, allowing for a little bit more cloud cover. You see that on the forecast map, especially with those clouds showing up pretty vividly right now. Even a few areas of maybe patchy flurries crossing the Delaware if you're headed way over toward the Pennsylvania border. You could run into those this morning, but predominantly a dry morning. The afternoon is where the wind and the rain begin. And that rain could start as soon as lunchtime across most of New Jersey, with some wind getting going, especially into tomorrow afternoon as well, out of the south and west. And then a westerly breeze takes over on Thanksgiving Day, adding to the chill because that's when the cold air comes in. So winds coming at us from all different directions over the next 2 days. The rain, that gets going later on this afternoon. After a dry start, we warm into the upper 50s, but the rain begins right around lunchtime and lasts even through the dinner hour, like briefly becoming heavy just before it finishes around 9 o'clock. Tomorrow morning sees a milder start, like really mild. We'll start in the 50s, but get up to near 70 in spots tomorrow afternoon, especially, look at that, Trenton, 68 degrees. If we get a few breaks of sun before the sun sets, we could certainly hit 70 degrees before the day is through. And then that front comes ripping through, dropping temperatures down to below the freezing mark. We stay around freezing all of Thanksgiving Day, and with it, gusty winds will make it feel even chillier. Look at these temperatures holding in the 20s for Thanksgiving night into Black Friday morning. So a big drop in temperatures going from the 60s back down to the 40s and even 30s overnight. The wind chills, Ken, feeling like the teens and 20s on Black Friday morning. Really cold stuff coming in. And yes, there are some flurries on the map too. We'll show you those coming up in another check of your forecast.
You better really want that bargain. And you better bundle up too. Maybe go out and buy a new parka. All right, Mike, we appreciate you. It is 39 degrees right now, northern New Jersey, 38 degrees in Trenton, and there is a lot of traffic. Pam was just asking our director, why is there so much traffic today? Because a lot of kids are off school already. There's traffic because all the Black Friday deals Mike was just talking about, all those trucks need to deliver the goods to the stores. So those trucks are coming in from the whole country to the New York, New Jersey tri-state area. And so that's why if you notice half the vehicles on the roads are trucks. It's clogging the roads, but we need that. If we want commerce, they're also bringing in lots of food for all those restaurants who are hosting tens of thousands of extra tourists in New York City right now. This is a very important holiday. And this is why it happens. It's okay. Just take a breath. It'll take an extra half hour. Let's go over to the New Jersey Turnpike. We do have an issue now. It's on the western spur, northbound, north of interchange 15E, which is 1 and 9 in Newark. Look at that line of cars. Yikes. This is one right lane block. So as they come through, the right lane is blocked, and that's causing what you see right there, that line of red taillights. We have problems now on Route 3. In fact, Pam was just talking about that, right, Pam? We have, but this is westbound now. Westbound Route 3 has delays from the Garden State to Route 46, that's where we always used to get problems, where the interchange was of the two. But they since fixed that with by remodeling it. But apparently there's an issue there with just bumper to bumper traffic. Now, your main problems this morning going to be making your way into New York City. So let's start with the Lincoln and Holland. Both are reporting 30 to 35-minute delays. And it's volume. It's not because of an issue. It's pure volume. 30 to 35 Lincoln or Holland. Take a look at the GWB. GWB upper and lower now, bumper to bumper. You can see the upper is moving a little better on the right than the lower on the left. And we are told there's a disabled vehicle on the lower level, eastbound, which is going into New York, approaching the toll plaza in Fort Lee with the center lane block. So the people on the left side are encountering that problem with the toll plaza issue. Your upper level will save you a couple of minutes, not much, about 4 or 5 minutes, but that's what it'll save you. So this is what you're going to encounter, folks, the next few days. Hey, I got to drive into New York tomorrow morning too, and I'm going to be right where those people were 24 hours from now. It is 7:05, and New Jersey lawmakers have introduced a bill that would ban ICE agents and other law enforcement who interact with the public from wearing masks or disguises. Now, the bill would still allow undercover officers, those wearing shields that don't cover their faces, or medical masks. Violators could face fines of up to $1,000 and could receive up to 6 months in jail. Senator Benji Wimberly expressed concern that masked officers intimidate, they scare those poor immigrant communities because they're too stupid to understand what police are. They're scared. You know, that is so racist to suggest that members of a minority community can't deal with stuff like everybody else can. All right, if you're here illegally and you know you're here illegally, you should be afraid. And I know that sounds horrible to say. You should be afraid because you've been given ample opportunity to do it the right way. Now the government is giving you an opportunity to tell them you are going back to your country of origin, wherever it may be, and they will give you $1,000 on a plane ticket. You go back, and when you're in that country of origin, you could then apply to come here legally. What is so hard about this? But you're so mean. No, there's nothing mean about it. That's the way it's been for 250 years in the United States and in other countries in the world. There is no country where you can just come set up shop and say, I'm now a citizen of Lithuania. Doesn't exist. So stop the silliness. Why are we pretending like it's always been the case until Orange Man Bad Trump came along and he's trying to make it so these poor people could. No, stop. Hey, you know what? If the federal government wants to really screw over the state, you should call every one of the federal ICE agents undercover police. If you call them all undercover police, then they circumvent the law because the law says undercover police are exempt. Not to mention, under something that obviously state lawmakers here are too ignorant to realize, there's something called Article 6, Paragraph 2 of the U.S. Constitution. Let's see, for those who haven't looked that up lately, it says, quote, maybe New Jersey's assembly can read this and Senate. Quote, a state or municipality cannot pass a law that interferes with the execution of federal law or the duties of federal agents. They call that the Constitution of the United States. Yeah, it's the Supremacy Clause. Maybe you may or may not have learned about that in school. The Supremacy Clause says you could enact all these local laws you want against the federal government. The federal government can give you the royal middle finger right there. Say, screw you. You have no authority. And if New Jersey tries to do something to those ICE agents, you try to arrest an ICE agent for wearing a mask, you try to charge them, give them a fine, they have the authority to turn around and arrest the local police officer who tries to do something, because that's interfering with a federal operation. So go ahead, try it. Either they are disingenuous or totally stupid in the state to try to waste your time and money to enact this law. It's all symbolic, so they can say, look what we did to Orange Man Bad. It's because they're a bunch of wussy asses who are trying to get reelected. So they want to go to the minority community. And they, by the way, the idiots in Trenton, and they are idiots, they believe that Hispanics are all monolithic. They think that all Hispanics are illegal, and all Hispanics believe that illegal aliens have a right to stay. And let me tell you something. I have family, lots of it. I am, yo puedo hablar español, part of that community. And let me tell you, there is a big chunk of Hispanics, as is evidence in Passaic County, who voted for Trump, that don't want illegals. You are welcome here legally. It's not about Hispanic or whatever nationality you are, and Hispanic's not a nationality. It's an ethnicity. You're welcome here. Just come here the way everybody else has always come here for 250 years and set up shop like everybody else. But we cannot have open borders because it has destroyed this country, period. So New Jersey, you go ahead and enact all the stupid laws you want. They are unenforceable. 709, federal funding for beach replenishment was eliminated in the fiscal 2025 budget, and that could spell trouble for the Jersey Shore. Only 4 of the 12 required federal spending bills have passed. Let me just make it clear. New Jersey seems to find plenty of money to pay for illegals to have special education, food, housing. They're not tax-paying residents. But when it comes to what is one of the economic centerpieces of the state, our shore, the Jersey Shore right there, we now don't have money. You know what? Stop wasting frickin' money, my taxpayer money, on illegal migrants who shouldn't be here and have no right to be here legally. Stop wasting that money and you would have money to replenish the shore. Why is that so hard? But yet, all mostly women in the state, mostly women and not men, women like 2-1, 3-1 vote Democrat. Men are like almost 50-50. It's the women of the state of New Jersey who are terrified. We have to vote because we're victims. Stop being victims. You want to stand up and be feminist? Stand the frig up and be feminist and stop being victims relying on the government to fulfill your every whim, women. This is ridiculous. You'll have the money to take care of the Jersey Shore. You lose the Jersey Shore, New Jersey is nothing but a toilet for New York City. All right? So stop the silliness. The Army Corps of Engineers needs to be funded. Right now, they're being funded with a continuing resolution. We're going to lose the shore. All right. Without federal dollars, many New Jersey beach towns are going to have to self-fund erosion control or look for another solution. And some local officials are looking into erosion control systems that Florida is currently using. Well, a new Rutgers-led climate study, another piece of crap, projects New Jersey could see up to 3.8 feet of sea level rise by 2100. Says who? Under current carbon emissions, and that number could rise to 4.5 feet if sheet melt accelerates. Okay, you notice when these environmentalists come up with these scare tactics, it's always by the year 2020, by the year 2300, you'll be dead. They'll be dead. I'll be dead. There's no way to prove it. So instead, let's scare the crap out of you and tell you your grandchildren are going to burn in hell. It's not happening. There's no evidence. In fact, there was a study done a month and a half ago that was not funded by a group like this was. This was funded. Look at this. 1995, 2022, no erosion. Where I live in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, my condo was built in 1967, the same sand line today. No erosion. Okay. Oh, but Ken, the Army Corps of Engineers filled the sand there. Well, no, there was actually a dock, and you could tell on the dock water levels have not risen. So we could talk about this for an entire show. There are many scientists who say, no, Ken, you don't know what you're talking about. And there are many. The IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, actually did a 2021 study that says the water levels are not rising. So Rutgers is getting paid for this study, and that's why it is. 7:12, and we're going to have clouds and showers, and we're going to come back with a full Garden State forecast. Watching on New Jersey Mornings.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Welcome back to ONNJ Mornings for your Tuesday. I'm Ken Rosato at 7:15, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
37 degrees. You know, I just discovered this morning, Mike, that when I walk outside wearing my shorts, it's chilly.
It is chilly. Can you still see me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, weird.
Oh,
The screen just went blank. Okay,
we
still
got you.
there? You're still there. All right.
Don't do anything you wouldn't do off the air.
I'll just do this weather. So we're starting off. It is chilly, Ken, like you mentioned, and there's that cold air that will linger through the rest of the morning into the afternoon. With that, a few flurries likely coming down right now, especially in the northernmost section of Sussex County, right there by Port Jervis on the border of New York State. A lot of those unlikely reaching the ground right now, but it's in advance of some rain that comes later today for the entire state. Look at the temperatures that warm into the low 60s throughout this afternoon, feeling quite mild in comparison to yesterday, but of course with rain it'll feel a little chilly even through the end of the day. The wind gusts that will make it feel chilly by Thursday, not today, not tomorrow, this is Thursday's wind, will really bring back some very cold temperatures. So as the highs climb to near 70 as soon as tomorrow afternoon, even with a break of sun. Look what happens tomorrow afternoon. We're feeling warm, and then all of a sudden that rush of cold air comes pouring down from the north and west, making it feel like the teens come Thursday morning, Thanksgiving morning, lasting in the 20s all throughout the day. And then as we head into Friday morning, teens again, 20s even in the big cities like Newark and down toward Trenton, 17 degrees. So the wind chill really making it feel like wintertime as soon as we get into the end of this week. So for today, clouds take over. Here's our rain for later on today, and all this wet weather gets going by around lunchtime today. Now, once it wraps up, we turn colder throughout the day on Thursday, but look at what happens for Friday morning. A little bit of snow starts to work its way through northern New Jersey. These could be some squalls and flurry bursts that take over for your Black Friday morning. So maybe if you're headed out toward those sales and the northern part of the state, Mall at Short Hills, Willowbrook Mall, even over toward Garden State Plaza, you could tap into some very cold and wintry-like weather as it clears out for the weekend, but stays chilly, Ken, with highs only in the 40s. So we're going to stay chilly even going into the weekend, last weekend in November.
As long as it's turkey chili, I'm okay with that, Mike. It's a good thing. That's it. 'Tis the season for turkey chili, and
Yes, it
boy, oh boy,
is.
do I love turkey chili. It's amazing. All the online social media folks yesterday were saying turkey chili rocks. Turkey chili is better than beef chili. So okay, I tried it
All
once.
right.
It's not bad. To me, it tastes the same. You put tons of chili powder in there, you can't tell the difference. You could put mystery meat in there, and you never know the difference. Anyway, just saying. Not that I ever did that. Thank you, Mike.
You bet.
Mike's like, I'm never eating at his house. 35 degrees right now, northern New Jersey. It's 38 in Trenton. And it's 37 in Cape May. In terms of traffic, let's go over to the New Jersey Turnpike again. We have a crash on the Turnpike Western Spur northbound. This is north of interchange 15E. Look at this mess, which is in Newark, 1 and 9. The right lane is blocked, and it's causing quite a delay there. Real big slowdown. We also have a disabled tractor trailer on the turnpike, outer roadway southbound, south of interchange 10, which is 287 Edison with the right shoulder blocked. Now we go over to Route 4, and this is in Fort Lee. Route 4 has just delays right now. This is volume delays, making your way from Jones Road area. And now we just got something that popped up on the GSP. We have delays on the Garden State southbound from south of exit 149 to exit 145 Bloomfield. That's about a 3 to 4 mile delay. That's all due to volume right now. Route, let's see. Let's go over the Hudson River crossings. Holland and Lincoln, both massive delay issues due to volume. So right now we're told it's 30 to 35 either way in the Lincoln or the Holland. GWB has an issue on the lower level by the toll plaza. So you can see the lower level on the left running a little more slowly, not much. It's just a broken down vehicle in the middle of the toll plaza. So people are going around it, but it is causing a little more of a slowdown. It'll cost you a few extra minutes. It is 7:20, and Asbury Park ranks number 4 on World Atlas's list of New Jersey's most festive downtowns for the holiday season. The Asbury Park Boardwalk and Beach Well, they provide quite the backdrop for holiday strolls, even in cooler months. In fact, it's even better in cooler months. A major draw, the Asbury Park Bazaar, modeled after traditional German markets, featuring local artisans and holiday gifts. The Archdiocese of Newark's Mercy House is making sure no family goes without a Thanksgiving meal this week. Beginning at 11 a.m. today, the Mercy House Newark location at 620 Clinton Avenue will give away hundreds of free turkeys and all the essentials needed to prepare a big holiday feast. Mercy House operates year-round, providing food, clothing, and assistance with finding work and housing for folks. To help out or for more info, you can visit rcan.org/mercy-house, or you can just Google Mercy House Newark and you'll find the address, and help them out, please. Well, whenever you make big meals like this at this time of year, you tend to have a lot of grease left over. Ooh, there we go. American water. So the reason we're showing that is, watch this. So there's a lot of grease left over and you pour it down the drain without thinking. The problem when you pour stuff down the drain is, see that? There's Mr. Fat, Mr. Oil, and Mr. Grease. You can imagine if you could hear their voices, they say, I'm fat, I'm oil, I'm grease. Grease is the word. Yes, they are cute, but unfortunately, when they get in your pipes, they're not so cute. You put oil down the drain when it's warm or room temperature, it's liquid. It gets into the pipes underground and it gets cold and congeals into a wax mass. And at that point, it clogs your pipes. And you know what they got to do to unclog those pipes, those drain pipes? Break up your outside sidewalk, break up the pipe, put in a new pipe, replace the sidewalk, and charge you $10,000. So the point is, don't throw grease and oil down the drain, period. Even a little bit will build up. You say, it's just an ounce. Yeah, the problem is that stuff builds up over time. And in a year, you're going to have clogged pipes. So take a container, let the oil cool, put it in a jar or a container, and place that in the garbage to be thrown away in the garbage. Do not place that like that in the drain, please. Very important. I lived in a building in Florida, where everybody was dumping oil in the drain. They had to rip up everybody's wall, even if you had nothing to do with it, everybody's wall in your unit to get to the pipe and replace all the pipe because it was all clogged with oil. Don't let it happen. 722. CNN number cruncher Harry Enton reports that of all presidents who received a second term in the 21st century, President Trump leads the pack with the highest approval rating in his party at this point in the term. So as you can see there, Trump stands at 87% approval among Republicans. Now, among Democrats, it's like 3%. They hate him. They despise him. Independents, it depends on the day. But at this stage in their respective second terms, Bush among Republicans had 78%. Obama among Democrats had 78%. Trump among Republicans has 87%. And that number has basically held steady even since the summer. I think he hit a peak of 88%. So he's 88, 87. It's negligible. It's basically unmoved since the summer. So Republicans are supporting him. 723, a new version of a peace plan hammered out between senior Washington and Kyiv delegations, proving more palatable to Ukrainians. It would remove several provisions that were previously described by U.S. officials as maximalist demands by Moscow. The new 19-point plan would eliminate one of the most controversial provisions of the previous 28-point plan reported last week, that Ukraine would have to give up territory in the Donbas region that Russia has been unable to conquer in more than 11 years of war. People don't want Russia there, so leave. Instead, the issue of territorial claims will be left to President Trump. Did you hear that? And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to hammer out at a later date. So what does that mean? That means Zelensky and Trump will sit down and figure out what lands they have to give to Russia, which is going to be a bitter pill for Zelensky to swallow, but it's going to be a deal. This is what Trump does. All right, you take this land, but you get the hell out of Donbass and leave it to us. They will reach a deal. You mark my words, before Christmas. A pocket watch that once belonged to one of the Titanic's most renowned passengers has sold at auction for $2.3 million, a record price for memorabilia related to the historic shipwreck. The 18-karat gold watch was gifted to its original owner, Isidore Strauss. Think of the word Strauss, the name Strauss Department Stores. Well, his wife, Ida Strauss, gave it to him for his 43rd birthday. Now, when you see the couple there, they look like they're 100 years old. They're only like in their 50s. We looked much older back in the day. than we do today. They look like they're in their 90s. They're only like 50, 52 years old, but they look like elderly people there. I'm 58. I'm like, that's crazy. See them in the left? They were only in their 50s in that picture. Anyway, I just find that fascinating. The watch was recovered from that gentleman's body in the Titanic from the wreckage. It sank, of course, in April of 1912. Isidor Straus, by the way, the reason his name might be familiar, he founded and owned Macy's department stores. He and his wife were first class passengers on the Titanic during its maiden and only voyage from England to New York. And this is what they're remembered for, their final act of selflessness while on board. They were entitled, as being first class passengers, they were entitled to privileged seats aboard the lifeboats. And they said, no, we're old, we lived our lives. And they gave their seats away, husband and wife, to younger people so they could live. And those people did live. They were saved. So those are saints right there who gave their lives for other people. And two men were arrested after chasing the Wizz Air plane. Well, there's mistake number one. You're flying on a plane called Wizz Air. The Wizz Air plane on which they were ticketed to fly. They ran down, look at this, they ran to the tarmac to knock on the plane door saying, hey, we missed the entrance, let us in. The plane was headed from Germany to Romania Friday night just before 9:30. The two stopped in their tracks by airport employees, thank God. The plane's red flashing lights were lit. That means the plane was about to throttle up. They could have gotten sucked into the engines, the morons. Airport security says the two Romanian men, ages 28 and 47, couldn't reach the departure gate before it closed, so they said, screw it. They broke a glass panel that was covering an emergency switch, opened the emergency exit, jumped down on the tarmac, and ran up to the plane. Try that with JetBlue. They'll toss you out on your keister. Can you imagine that? They ran out on the tarmac. Cray, cray. They now face federal charges in Germany. I don't know if that means anything because Germany doesn't really enforce their laws. 727 right now, 38 degrees northern New Jersey. When we come back, we will spotlight supercar saints. We'll tell you all about that. It's very cool. The phone lines are open, by the way. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. Cloudy today, occasional rain in the afternoon, highs in the low 50s. We'll have a full Garden State forecast with meteorologist Mike Favetta in just a moment. You're watching ONNJ Jersey Mornings, seen daily at ONNJ.com, Roku, Fire TV, News On, Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, YouTube, Facebook, and X, and now streamed live on Substack, Rumble, Twitch, and Local Now. The time is 7:28. We're coming back in 2 minutes. very good morning to 32 degrees, even freezing at 7:30 on Tuesday, November 25th, 2025. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. Clouds today, occasional rain in the afternoon, highs low 50s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta will be here in just a moment with the detailed Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
So you look outside and you think, "Ooh, boy, does that look like it's not summer anymore."
No, we had a very pretty pink sunrise just before 7 a.m. this morning, but
Mhm.
now it's all about the clouds taking over and the rain that arrives shortly in just a few hours, likely by the lunch hour. So, not the beautiful sunny weather we had yesterday, even though it was a little chilly. It was dry and nice. The rain gets going with that wind off of the water, especially down the shore. And now that'll help temperatures warm into the low 60s, but with the rain, it'll be a little wet by this afternoon. With that, temperatures running above average today, even tomorrow, likely reaching near record highs, could get to near 70 by tomorrow afternoon as that rain wraps up, get a few breaks of sun, and then the temperature drops like a rock going into Thanksgiving. So here are the clouds. They're already in place. Throughout the remainder of today, we have that rain taking over this afternoon into this evening. Some of the spotty areas of yellow show the heavier downpours. And then by tomorrow afternoon, could see those highs climb well into the 60s before it drops quickly. Later tomorrow night into Thanksgiving morning, we'll see that drop of at least 40 degrees all the way down to below the freezing mark. And when you factor in the wind, even though it'll be sunny on Thanksgiving Day, those winds will be howling, making the wind chill feel like the teens and 20s even throughout the afternoon. Even colder for Black Friday morning. So the warm front doing its job, warming up temperatures. It also brings the rain throughout later on today. Then here's that cold front setting up for later Wednesday afternoon. Once that sweeps through, it'll be windy, it'll be chilly, and we could have wind gusts that'll be approaching the threshold of potentially having the parade organizers lower the balloons a little bit on Thanksgiving morning, but I think they should still fly. Then as we go through Friday morning, have a few of those snow flurries come on through. The weekend, Saturday and Sunday, looking nice and clear. So the next few days featuring a warm up quickly for tomorrow, and then a big drop into the, well, below average range right throughout Friday, Saturday, Sunday, even into Monday, first day of December, calling it a high of 50, which is average, but still pretty chilly going into next week. And shore points, also a lot of wind for you, especially today and tomorrow. And then the wind switch direction for Thanksgiving Day, bringing in the cold air, staying chilly into next week. At least the weekend is dry. So you have Friday with flurries up north, and then Saturday and Sunday stay dry, Ken, if you want to continue the extended Black Friday shopping.
There you go. And we're going to go right into Cyber Monday. In fact, we're going to talk to our guy Fisher. He's going to have all these Cyber Monday deals for us. I'm kind of looking forward to it. I'm geeking out because he's got all these great deals for us on Monday. Anyway, sir, look at that. I'm getting ahead of ourselves. We
I'm
haven't even had
excited to hear
Thanksgiving
about
yet.
it too.
Yeah, no, we went over it. In fact, I'm having him on, I'm doing WOR radio tomorrow and Friday, and he's going to come on Friday, and he has this whole list already. So we'll get the preview on WOR Friday, and then he has more for us on Monday. So that's going to be
Wow.
exciting. All right, sir. I appreciate you. We will check back in just a little bit. 36 degrees at 7:34 right now in northern New Jersey. It's 38 in Trenton. It's 37 degrees in Vineland and 37 degrees now in Cape May. In terms of traffic, we look over at the Turnpike, and we have issues on the New Jersey Turnpike Western Spur northbound north of interchange 15E, which is 1 and 9 in Newark. The right shoulder's blocked, and take a look at what you got. This is everybody coming. Those lanes converge just beyond, and that 1 and 9, you could see the Pulaski Skyway there. That's 1 and 9 over there. So that is a mess as all these trucks and cars try to converge up ahead. So just give yourselves a little bit of extra travel time for that. We have a crash right now on the Garden State Parkway, and this is northbound Garden State, south of exit 135 Central Avenue in Clark Township. The left lane is blocked. The shot we're going to show you, you could see it it's about a mile down from where those cars are entering the screen. So if you look at the top right of your screen, you can see the taillights. That's the best we got for this shot. But that is what we're talking about down in Clark. So that's exit 135 on the Garden State Parkway, just to show you that, yes, it does exist. We have a disabled truck now on I-78, express lanes westbound east of exit 57 in Newark by Route 21. The left lane is closed. And your approaches to the Hudson River right now, Lincoln and Holland both reporting 35 minutes, all due to volume. On the GWB, upper and lower are a mess. You could see they're both very slow, 35 to 40 getting in at best. Your lower is a little slower. That's due to a disabled vehicle at one of the toll booths, but it's only about 2 to 3 minutes of additional delay. No matter which you go, it's going to cost you time. 7:35, and this morning we're spotlighting Supercar Saints. It is a powerful new feature-length documentary already on the short list for Academy Award consideration. The film follows Stephen Spice, a young man living with Chiari malformation, a rare and life-threatening brain defect. And despite constant pain, multiple surgeries, and overwhelming challenges, Stephen finds joy and strength in the world of supercars and professional wrestling. Man has taste. And the documentary's producer and director, James Hergott, highlights the community that rallied around Stephen, him, and the moments that changed his life. Supercar Saints has already been released on Amazon Prime. It's generating a lot of awards buzz. Stephen Spice himself and director James Hergott are here to talk about the film and the message they hope to share. Good morning, Stephen and James. Good to have you both on.
Good morning.
Hey, how are you? Good to see you. And by the way, we should mention that, and I'm going to throw you under the bus, our director, because Stephen was able to figure out his camera before you were. So, of course, the younger person knows the technicals, right? You know how to use your phone better than anybody. Whenever we have a technical issue on this station, we ask the youngest person, and they always know what's going on with it. I love that. Awesome.
100%.
But it's great to have you both on. God bless you both. I got to ask, and this is for Stephen, what role did supercars and wrestling play to keep your spirits up when you had to deal with all the pain?
It played the biggest part. Wrestling, my whole journey started with wrestling. And I was giving up because I had brain surgery, my first one, and the doctor came in, not to deliver good news, but bad. He said, you can't be a kid. There's no more roller coasters, no more bouncy castles, no more trampolines, no more being a normal kid, basically. And I couldn't, being a 5-year-old, I couldn't handle that truth, that fact. And I gave up. But I saw John Cena on YouTube saying, don't give up, don't ever give up. And he wasn't saying it personally to me, but I felt moved. And that's what started my whole journey. And then fast forward to I've always had a thing for supercars, always, just never fully. And I fast forward to 2023, and I'm going to a supercar show that I got tickets to from a charity. And that's where I met James, and that's where I met Swash and everything. And that really pushed my love for supercars.
That's cool. And you got to meet Cena. So what was it like meeting John Cena?
I was like, no words, literally no words. Because when he turned heel later that night, I didn't talk for 3 days. So it was awesome. It was really awesome. He's such a good guy. That was my favorite meet of all time. Right beside Cody Rhodes.
Very cool. That is so cool. He seems like a really good guy with a good heart, and just he's a great actor and just very philanthropic. We have to just shift for a second here. I got to ask James, as a filmmaker, what drew you to Stephen's story? Obviously, there is an amazing story to tell here.
So originally I was filming just supercars and their owners and kind of getting into that because we're, in the Northeast as well, and the weather's like this. And, I was surprised at how many supercars were around, and I wanted to kind of go into that story. And then to this charity event, Stephen came out to, and he was just such a courageous and outgoing individual that he just kind of took over. And he ingratiated himself with these supercar owners. And in some cases, these guys would spend a couple $1 million a day just to buy cars. The club that I featured, the minimum that you had to have as a net worth was $50 million. So there was a lot of excess. And then you have Stephen, whose parents lost their house because of all the building up bills and everything they had to cover for his surgeries. And he connected with these guys just like he was their best friend. And it was such a dynamic that in terms of humanity, they were connected. And going into Thanksgiving, it's the kind of story that really, if you're looking for something that's uplifting and motivating and draws on that humanity, it's the type of movie where you can sit and watch it with the family and you're gonna feel really good by the end of it.
It's about time we have movies like this instead of so much garbage that Hollywood's been pumping out. And this movie blends the high energy supercar culture, which the thing is, you have a lot of snobs who look down on supercars and the whole industry. Meanwhile, as you mentioned, it is a multi-billion dollar industry that is probably, I think the whole car racing thing is like the biggest sport in America. People love this. So you blend the supercar culture with the emotional storytelling. So how were you able to keep that balance through the entire film?
Well, Steven was really the linchpin because he was the human story that drew all these things together. So there's a couple of like really high net worth individuals in the movie that at first they're very excessive. There's one guy, he crashes like 10 of his cars and Ferraris and all this. And there's another guy and he parks in handicapped spots. And at first the audience is going to be like, I hate these guys. But then as they kind of get involved with Steven, they start to look at things through a different lens. And it's actually very interesting that a kid ends up having an impact on them. And this is all like a real thing. This isn't like a scripted movie. This is just something I was filming. So I didn't know where it was going to go. And by the end of it, there's a couple of revelations about some of the supercar owners that reveals that they actually have a lot more in common with Steven. And it's kind of a shocking thing. And if you can stick around and watch the whole thing, all these stories kind of merge in together. And there's a method to the madness behind it. And it's kind of crazy because if it wasn't for Steven, it wouldn't have come together like that.
Okay. Yeah, that is amazing. Look, we're down to the last 30 seconds. We got to ask for a website for more information. This has Oscar buzz, so people need to watch this over the holidays. What's a website where people can watch Superstar Saints and follow Steven's journey?
You can follow it supercarsaints.com, but go watch it on Prime Video. That's where you can watch it for free if you have Amazon Prime.
There you go. As do I. So I will be watching that. That'll be my assignment this weekend. It sounds like a fun assignment, a good one. Fun in terms of all the energy from the cars and also meeting and knowing the sweetheart of a young man right here, Steven Spies. Please come back again. You are awesome, dude. You are awesome, and we want you around for many years to come. A documentary is called Supercar Saints. Steven Spies director James Harrogate. Thank you both for coming on this morning.
Don't give up. Be yourself.
Amen to that. Happy Thanksgiving. God bless you. What a special person. Amen. What a special person. Excuse me. When we come back, we will have lots more news and lots more to tell you about. In fact, we're going to be talking about Thanksgiving almost here, and Chef Jesse Jones will have a special treat, green bean casserole on ONNJ Mornings.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Welcome back to ONNJ Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 7:45, taking your calls at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
Mike, I'm good until a little boy with a rare brain disease tells me don't give up.
Yeah. Yep.
Then I lose it.
That was special.
Then I
That
lose
was
it.
that was very special. And it's fitting for the right time of season, right? Many people grateful for the blessings, especially this time of year, and we'll see that. I think going through the next few weeks too. We're also grateful for a little bit of rain, Ken, because we're still in a rainfall deficit. It's been dry for the past few months, and we're now approaching back to that 1-inch rainfall deficit, not just for the northern part of the state, but even extending right down toward the coast. And we get some beneficial rains later today, specifically in northern New Jersey, where it's needed most, with temperatures holding in the 50s. Not the most ideal weather for heading out and doing the grocery shopping before the big holiday, but still, we could use some more wet weather. As far as the temperature is concerned, for the first week of December, we start off chilly, in fact, a little bit below average, with all of that cold really centered in the Midwest, head down toward Florida, and the South looks great, warmer than average there. But with a little bit more of a wet forecast ahead and higher rain chances going in through the first few weeks of December, I think will look good in terms of that. With the rain that comes in for today and tomorrow, it does turn milder, and then it gets very cold and very dry starting on Thanksgiving Day and lasting through the upcoming weekend. Now, by next week, for the first 2 days in December, actually turns quite wet and a little bit milder again. So instead of snow, we start off December with some rain, but still it's, a chilly feel that'll set the stage for some cold weather ahead, Ken, going into the first week of December.
Oh, there you have it. Okay. Well, you know what? 'Tis the season, so everybody
Yeah.
stop screaming and complaining like me about about the cold weather. I'm as I'm talking to you, I'm actively looking for an accident on a camera to tell our dear friend Pam about. But there we go. Sorry to keep you on cam for that, but thank you for helping me out here. So we have thank you, sir. We will check back in a little bit. It's 37 degrees right now in northern New Jersey. It's 38 in Trenton. This is what happens when you're a smaller station, you multitask. So right now I am actively and crazily pressing buttons, and I think I may have something for Pam. Pam, you're going to go from 76 to 78 Vauxhall, 78 Vauxhall. So we'll start with 76. All right. Thanks, folks, for enduring. So let's take a look at traffic right now. Route 76. This is I-76. Eastbound, east of exit 1C, Market Street, Gloucester City. All lanes are closed because of that, what you see on your screen. That is a crash that occurred in the last 15 minutes, and all lanes are now closed. It looks like they're trying to get some folks off on the shoulder there, but the rubbernecking on the opposite side is an absolute mess. So again, you have Gloucester City, I-76 eastbound, east of exit 1C, Market Street, Gloucester City. All lanes are closed. Yikes. We have a crash also on the Garden State Parkway northbound south of exit 143C, which is 124 in Irvington with a left lane block there. And we also have a crash on the Garden State northbound south of exit 135 Central Avenue in Clark with the right shoulder blocked. If we go over to, I don't know if Pam is able to get there. Pam, if you could do I-78. There it is. Thank you, Pam. She's so good. So this disabled truck now in I-78 express lanes westbound east of exit 57 Route 21 in Newark with the left lane of 3 lanes closed. So that's causing that. So we got a mess on the roadways. Now your approaches to the Hudson River, Lincoln and Holland, 35 minutes. GWB upper and lower, very bad right now, talking 45 minutes at least rather. And that you can see bumper to bumper mess making your way in. 7:50 right now. And Kane University Wrestling competed in their final home match of the wrestling season, a sport that hasn't been active at Kane for nearly 30 years. On New Jersey Sports, Mike Black takes us to the mat.
After a 30-year absence, Kane University returned wrestling to their pantheon of sports.
It's incredible. I didn't expect to be here this semester. You know, sometimes life hits you in certain ways, man, but it worked out, and I'm happy to be here.
A little bit of a late start, but I feel like we're picking up steam now as a team overall. And I think the fans, really are here for us student-wise, body.
Nice. It's nice to go from building instead of inheriting a program.
Alongside their men's team returning, Kane implemented a women's team.
Our women's team is pretty compassionate and loving and caring, and they're all about unity and team culture.
Recently, the Cougars held their final home match, resulting in a loss for the team, but some key personal victories.
Finishing off undefeated at home, it means the world to me, man. I take pride in wearing this Cougar blue. So when somebody else comes into our territory, we got to defend it, man. And I'm happy to say that I defended well.
You just got to move on to the next one, take the lesson, and move forward.
I think we lost as a team, but we did great things overall in general. So I think we just need to keep growing and building and climbing higher.
Win or lose, you can always count on a Cougar team to climb higher.
Thank you, Mike Black, for that. 7:51, and Thanksgiving's almost here. Chef Jesse Jones is offering a twist that could steal the holiday spotlight. He showed us how to make rack of pork yesterday, and today he shows us how to make the classic Thanksgiving side dish, green bean casserole.
Now we got to do a veg.
Yes.
So we're going to do string bean casserole?
Yes.
All right.
My favorite recipe from my book, Power My Life in 40 Feasts. So I'm going to start right here. I have some roasted garlic oil. I have a little butter.
And we should just tell everybody, roasted garlic oil, take a head of garlic, cut it in half, a little olive oil, put it in aluminum foil, put it in the oven and roast it for about roughly 40
about
minutes.
an hour.
An hour?
Yeah.
And it'll be soft and sweet. You can actually put that on toast just like that.
You can put it on toast and mix it in anything and it's great.
Or in this case, you put it in your oil.
Or you put it in the oil. And like I said, normally what we do with the pillins, we throw them out. I just like to reconstitute them in some oil and get that flavor, They charge $10 at the store. Also, so now I got the butter and I got the roasted garlic oil. Now I'm going to start off with a little onion. My mom made this recipe when I was young, and I just love it, with the cream. So I'm going to saute the onions up. And we're going to add a little bit of garlic. I know we got a lot of garlic going on here. Roasted garlic oil, garlic. Okay.
No vampires.
Okay, so now we're letting that cook up. And the reason why I minced the onions and the garlic this small because it kind of cooks quick. It'll kind of dissipate really quick in the oil versus being big chunks. It's because I know I want to saute fast and I don't want to burn it. Now I'm going to add a little flour to make some roux.
So the roux is as a thickener, right?
Yes, the roux is a thickener. And I have that was a half a cup of butter. So this is a half a cup of flour. So it's equal parts fat.
And how long do you let your roux cook? Do you like a dark roux? Or do you
no dark roux. Here, it's more of a lighter roux. Just as long as the flour is incorporated in there. I'm going to go in here with a little bit of slowly add a little half and half. You don't want to put it all in once, just so it all catches. You don't
want lumps, right?
You don't want no lumps in it. You stir it fish, you can. And so now I'll switch to my whisk here. So you add a little bit so that of course. If you put too much, you have to make some more roux.
Right.
So you want to just let it get heat, let it get thick as it go.
So as that gets hotter, it thickens, right? The flour kind of gets absorbed by the cream.
Yes. So now that's looking good there.
Like you could give me that with a spoon and put me in a corner. I'd be fine with that.
So now a little bit of salt, a little sea salt. I like to use black pepper, but you don't, and white pepper. So some people go, what's the black spots? So a little bit of white pepper in there.
But they do have different flavors.
Oh, yeah. So here's that. So now, as that's smelling good there, we're going to add a little bit of Boston cheese which is my favorite. This is
Little
the garlic
herb cheese.
Little boysen cheese, garlic and herb.
So you could
flavor.
almost make mac and cheese with what
Absolutely,
you got there, right?
yeah, same thing. You know, my mother made this. I love this. She used to do this with broccoli. They could do a lot of other things. So now, add your beans in, and these are blanched in the salt water.
How long do you blanch for? About 10 minutes?
You know what? Till al dente, to taste, maybe like 5 minutes, 6 minutes. You know.
Do you like them firmer, a
Yeah,
little
if you
less?
like them a little firmer, a little less. Okay. So now, that's pretty much it, because you're gonna get the cream. You may have to, and then you come over here, and you, because I like them like thick like this, because
Sure.
you're gonna put the cheese and everything, and you can thin it out, but as it bakes and get bubbly, it's gonna be nice.
That looks so good, just like that, Chef.
And this comes from a recipe that we used to do, a veal blanquette, and the chef did a lot of cream sauces like this, but he did it with half and half. So I figured I'd make it less with the half and half instead of the heavy cream. I mean,
That's awesome.
okay. So you see that?
Yes, sir, I do.
So we'll come over here. Okay. See that? And so now this is a little breadcrumbs with the roasted garlic oil again.
Oh,
And so
okay.
I'm gonna add a little bit
That's
of
just plain breadcrumbs, little garlic oil added.
panko bread with a little garlic in there.
Oh, it's panko. Okay.
Yep, panko.
Get that nice crunch. Is this
Lot
just
of-
shredded cheddar?
Yep, shredded cheddar, sharp. You know, a lot of cheese, like my mom loved it. Okay, so now we got the cheese, and now we go with a lot of this, because I love the crunch, you know?
Of course.
So slather that on with love, you know? Holidays, okay, push that down.
And that's the whole point. If you watch yourself during the year, you can have what you want on the holidays.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we go in here with a little bit of paprika for some little color, and right in the oven. And we have one that's coming out,
Okay.
right? Let's just pull this out.
Ah.
There you have it. Voila, we'll put this one in.
Oh, that's sick. That smells so good.
And there we
Don't
have
burn
it.
yourself, Chef.
Yes, sir. That's right. We have it. Maybe we will
Rosemary.
put a little rosemary in there in the crust. Pow! Right out the oven, y'all.
We got our string bean casserole.
Yep.
The crunch from the breadcrumbs and that cheese.
Wow.
God, that was so good. Chef Jesse is the author of Pow, My Life in 40 Feasts, a cookbook and memoir by a beloved American chef, available at his website, chefjessejones.com. We're coming right back. Good morning. It's 8 a.m. Tuesday, November 25th, 2025. Welcome back to ONNJ Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. Our call center is open at 888-658-0234. And meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
Mike, I'll tell you, Italian Americans, we have our own version of Thanksgiving that usually involves a lasagna as well as turkey and everything. We do the American and the Italian combined. So I don't know about you. Did you guys have green bean casserole growing up? Because we didn't.
Never had green bean casserole. It was always in garlic and oil.
Right. Yes. Let me tell you something. Chef Jesse, that food, that green bean casserole, because it has boursin cheese and buttered
Yeah, I
toasted
saw.
garlic breadcrumbs. Oh my God, it was so
Sounds
good.
incredible.
So
Wow.
but in Italy they do that too. They put the buttered breadcrumbs on top of pastas and things. They do that a lot in Sicily. They do it in Sardinia. So that's not that unusual. And then the cheese, the bechamel sauce, which is basically what he did, roux with milk and boursin cheese as a bechamel.
Right.
It's just we call it different stuff. And he did that on that green bean. I tell you, that's going to be a side dish for us this year. That is so delicious.
I'll never forget the time that the chef instructor in Italy, because I did some culinary courses there in college, taught me and said, it was Caterina de' Medici from Florence who taught the French how to cook. And I'm like, oh, well, that changes everything, doesn't it?
Yes. And by the way, that was before tomatoes had made their way to Italy, which is why most French cooking does not feature tomatoes. But then Italian cooking had a reinvention, if you will, in the 1800s, when you had tomatoes make their way from the New World, Peru, and Colombia to Spain, France, and then eventually to Italy. That's how tomatoes weren't there in the 14 and 1500s. It was what is now French food was Italian food. Crazy.
Well, you need something to keep you warm today, Ken. Whether it be the green bean casserole or whether it be, just whatever comfort food that'll get you through the day because temperatures are dropping right now. You can see that over in Long Branch, went to 44 degrees, 34 right now, back over toward Morristown and Trenton. It feels like 39, so the wind's starting to pick up as well. Today, the winds are off of the water, meaning it'll feel colder at the coast, even though the temperature is a little bit milder than this time yesterday. The clouds, they're in place. We have some rain arriving momentarily, some of that taking over as soon as 11 a.m., but most of the state tapping into it around noon, lunchtime today. Then with the wind gusts getting going, especially down toward LBI and Atlantic City, look at those winds coming in out of the south, making for very gusty conditions later on tonight, and especially tomorrow. The winds tomorrow pushing in some milder air, and with it, some maybe breaks of sun by the end of the day that could help temperatures reach the low 70s in places, but it's short-lived because we're right back to the freezer come Thanksgiving morning. It's going to get really cold Thanksgiving morning with those winds gusting upwards of 20, 25 miles per hour, making for a pretty gusty wind chill as well. Now, with the temperatures climbing today with that rain only into the 50s, it'll feel chilly and wet right through this evening with that rain lasting in spurts and spittles over the night. I think tomorrow morning starts off with a little bit of wet weather as well, but there's more breaks in the clouds by the afternoon, allowing for temperatures to warm back into, look at that, 68, 69 degrees there toward Trenton. Doesn't last long. We're back down in the freezer for Thursday morning. Thanksgiving Day is cold all day long and windy. That's why the wind chill will make it feel like the teens and 20s throughout the afternoon. And then we have a few snowflakes on the map for Friday morning. Could see a few bursts of flurries with some squalls. Other than that, after a brief warm-up, it turns chilly and stays chilly into the weekend. We'll give you more details with the weekend forecast coming up in a few minutes.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. It is 40 degrees now. Temps come up just a little bit in northern New Jersey and 41 in Trenton. In terms of traffic, we got a lot of it. Let's go back to I-76 in Gloucester City. We have the left shoulder, left lane, 3 right lanes, and the ramp lane and right shoulder closed. So all but like a lane or two are closed right there. And that's because of a nasty wreck that started about 45 minutes ago. And you can see the absolute mess. This is going toward Philadelphia, that part of New Jersey. But again, this is I-76 eastbound, east of exit 1C. Market Street, Gloucester City, an absolute mess. Try to avoid that area if at all possible. Over to the New Jersey side of things, we have a crash. Well, that was New Jersey, but that was near Philly, more inland toward the coast of New Jersey, actually. A crash on the Garden State Parkway now, southbound, just south of exit 143C, Route 124 in Irvington Township. The left lane is blocked, so you could see what's causing that on the right side, upper right corner. You can see that that's the delay being caused as a result. Staying on the Garden State, we have another issue, a crash on the Garden State northbound south of exit 135, which is about 6 miles south of that point. With Central Avenue in Clark, that intersection, the right shoulder is blocked there. And on I-78 right now, express lanes westbound east of exit 57, Route 21 in Newark, you have a disabled truck causing the left lane to be closed. Holland and Lincoln still just volume delays of 30 to 35 minutes to get into Manhattan. GWB upper and lower 40 to 45. You can see very heavy, but at least they are moving. 8:05 is our time, and as we head into the holiday season, there is a brand new Christmas story capturing attention across New Jersey and beyond. Joining us this morning is Scott Mano, who is New Jersey author of the new book, Short List. The novel blends holiday spirit with a modern twist, featuring an AI hologram of Charles Dickens. Very cool idea, and it's already gaining a lot of buzz. Shortlist has been optioned for film development by a producer, and Scott is kicking off a multi-city holiday book tour right here in New Jersey. And we say to you, good morning, Scott. Uh-oh, Pam. There we go. Now we got you. We got it. Yeah, I got it. Thanks. I love it when the gremlins try to get us and they don't. Scott, good to have you on.
Great.
What is this Christmas story about, and how does New Jersey fit into it? Because it sounds like a great twist.
Yeah. Well, it's about an inventor dad who has been working for the past 7 years on an AI Charles Dickens. He happens to live in a small town, and the town's hit some hard times. It's a Jersey town, like all the great Jersey towns that we have throughout the state. And it takes the whole plot of the book takes place on Christmas Eve, where he's about to have a presentation. A billionaire mogul is flying in, but it turns out that he has a 9-year-old daughter, and she doesn't really worry too much about AI right now. She wants to go out and look for Santa Claus, so she heads out in a Christmas Eve blizzard, and the dad is torn between doing his presentation for this mogul or going out and finding his daughter. And of course he goes out and searches for his daughter, and then all kinds of holiday hijinks ensues.
I love that. I love holiday hijinks because we all know about holiday hijinks in our individual lives, I'm sure. Well, one of the most unique elements, of course, we're talking about this, the AI hologram Charles Dickens. So how did this futuristic Dickens character work with the story, and where did you come up with that? The whole concept is brilliant.
Well, it's interesting because I started writing the book about 8 or 9 years ago, and AI was on the radar, but certainly it didn't, wasn't exploding like it is today. And by the time I finished the book, it turned out that suddenly, it was on everyone's horizon. And I would say how I got the story about Charles Dickens is obviously he's been such a great influential author to every writer that's come after him. He was the first author to write about impoverished people. And he was also the first writer to do a book tour. And he never actually read his book in New Jersey, but in the late 1860s, he did 76 shows. And he was the first writer. He was kind of our first rock star. Women would faint at his readings. There was lines around the block. There were scalpers, which at that time were called speculators. And I also did a lot of research in Dickens' letters, and he could be quite cantankerous and quite sarcastic. So I thought, what a great idea would be to make an AI Dickens who not only is going to, walk and talk and spin tales like the famous author of A Christmas Carol, but also spurn fools and kind of, he was a very funny character. So that's how that came about.
So I'm wondering if the term "scare the Dickens out of you" comes from that. Is that where that comes from? Is it because of? There you have it. Interesting. See, only old folks like us even remember that phrase. But I'm with you 100%. So the book has already been optioned for film development by a Hollywood producer. So what was it like to get a call from a Hollywood producer who says, "Yeah, you know what, this would make a great film"?
Well, as you can see, I'm not a young man, and I've been writing for a long time, but this is my first published novel. I've written a lot of fiction. I would either put it in a drawer because I didn't think it was good enough, or I would send it out, and I got a lot of rejection letters. When I was working on this one, I kind of knew that I had a pretty good idea. And a friend of mine was one of the first readers, and she said, You know what? I know a producer who's looking for a Christmas story, and we sent the galley to him, and it was amazing. I got a call back in about 2 days, and he said, "I want to make this into a film." It's a long process, but they have written 2 drafts of the script, so we're moving along, and that's been another very exciting kind of sidebar of this whole project.
That is awesome. And you never think your stuff's good enough, right? You never think, and you put
No,
it aside. And so many people have said, just send it out. Because the worst that'll happen is you'll learn from the rejection, right? Somebody will critique you and you'll say, okay, those are great
Ex-
ideas. I'll change.
exactly. That's why I always say I get a lot of questions. I'm doing a reading tour from young writers or aspiring writers, and my one big piece of advice is don't ever give up, ever. You could be 20, you could be 90. If you think you have a story in you, go for it.
Absolutely. Now you're going to make 8 book tour stops in New Jersey from now through mid-December. When's your first one and where's it going to be?
My first one is in Melbourne on December 4th at the Book House. And then on December 5th, I'm at the Barnes& and Noble at Menlo Mall in Edison, New Jersey. And then I just wanted to mention a couple other places. On December 13th, I'm at the Town Bookstore in Westfield. And I want to give a shout out to Lisa Schwartz, who's the owner of that bookstore. It's the oldest bookstore in New Jersey. And she is a wonderful supporter of new writers, authors, people who love books. So I was very fortunate. She was one of the first people to embrace my book. She put it in her bookstore, and it's been selling very well. And I also want to mention on December 20th, I'm at the Community Cafe in Union, New Jersey, which is a wonderful cafe, very cozy and warm. We're going to have hot chocolate. I'm there at 2 o'clock, and we're going to do a fun reading there, and I hope to get a good crowd.
And thank God for the bookstores that those old bookstores like the Strand in New York and your friends in New Jersey, because they survived the onslaught of Amazon and Barnes and Noble. No offense to those folks. And the fact that we have online selling, but they survived because of how great they are in the connection with the community. What's a website for people to buy shortlist if they want to get more information or for just in
Sure.
general more?
You could go on scottmino.com. That's SCOTTMEHNO. Also, my publisher, tmabooks.com. I also want to give a shout out to Tracy Miller, who is my publisher and has done a great job supporting me.
It's
And you
called,
can also go on my
there you go.
social
It's
media,
called
which is Instagram and
we're
Facebook.
about to hit commercial. That's why I got to cut you off. It's called Shortlist. Catch author Scott Mino and his book tour. Scott, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving. And we're
Thank you.
coming
Happy
right back
holidays.
on New Jersey Mornings. You too. Welcome back to ONNJ Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:15. We will take your calls at 888-658-0234. Clouds today, occasional rain in the afternoon, highs low 50s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
And it's definitely kind of a damp chill in the air. You could feel it when you go
Hmm.
outside.
Yeah, I think you'll start to smell the snow by Friday. You know how
Hmm.
when the air has that scent that, hey, is it about to snow? That arrives later Thursday night into Friday morning. I know, Pam, our director, loves that smell. And yet, it'll let you know that December's around the corner because as we head into Friday and the weekend, yeah, there are some flakes and flurries in the forecast. Today, it's all about the rain, with the clouds getting going early this morning, transitioning to a light rain by lunchtime, rain throughout this evening, some wet weather on the way with temperatures holding in the 50s. But the bigger story is how the drop in temperatures from tomorrow afternoon to Thursday morning will really make it feel cold. Afternoon highs tomorrow may approach 70. This is wind chill, so the algorithm takes a few degrees off. But beyond that, look what happens for Thursday morning. 5 a.m. wind chill, 19 degrees from Sussex to Morristown. Feels like 25 in Newark and stays right around the freezing mark all throughout Thursday afternoon with those gusty winds. Not terribly gusting to ground the balloons. They might be lowered a little bit, but I think they'll still fly. And then Friday morning, even colder, 15 over in Morristown and Flemington, 24 by later Friday morning. It'll feel like in Trenton, even down toward the shore. Very chilly weather. So the forecast wind gusts important because throughout the morning on Friday, there'll be just borderline criteria for those balloons being lowered. Again, I still think they'll fly, but with gusts approaching 20 or 22 miles per hour, it'll be a bit breezy for Thursday morning, and then the winds stick around throughout at least the first part of the weekend with that cold weather kind of digging its heels in. So with the clouds around right now, it stays gray for the first part of today. The rain arrives later on this afternoon as soon as the lunch hour, and then we tap into some more of that heavier wet weather even through the overnight into tomorrow. The Futurecast shows that as we clear out for Thursday into Friday, then Friday morning rolls around and we have a little weak front passes through. And that may promote some flurries by Friday morning. So there's that shade of blue kind of spreading across northern New Jersey. And this could give us a few flakes and maybe even put down a little, thin coating on the car tops throughout the first part of our day on Friday. Stays chilly into the weekend with lows in the 20s, highs in the 40s, running a bit cooler into the first few days of December. Ken, we got the 7-day forecast coming up.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. We will check back on that. Let's get that 7-day. 41 degrees right now, northern New Jersey. It's 41 in Trenton, 39 degrees at Cape May, and 40 in Vineland. In terms of traffic, and we do still have a lot of it, let's go over to the I-76 wreck we talked about and have been talking about for the last hour. This is westbound on I-76, east of exit 1C, Market Street, Gloucester City. That's toward the Philadelphia area. The left shoulder is closed there, and you can see they're cleaning up. They've opened up several lanes. That was entirely stopped 20 minutes ago, and you can see they're starting to get around that, but it's still a mess. So give yourselves extra travel time if you're in that part of New Jersey. We also have issues now in the Garden State Parkway. There's been a crash there for about 25, 30 minutes. It is on the GSP southbound, south of exit 143C, which is Route 124 in Irvington. The two left lanes are blocked. That's causing a bit of a slowdown here if we get to the Garden State Chem. It takes a second to switch over. So there you have it on the right side of your screen, upper right. You'll see what that's causing. Bit of a delay. Again, that is on the Garden State Parkway crash. That is southbound, south of 143C, Route 124, Irvington. Two left lanes are blocked there. Now, your Hudson River crossings right now. And just got this first in Jersey City. We have a disabled vehicle on 12th Street, eastbound by Erie Street in Jersey City. That's a main part downtown. That's now a disabled vehicle, and that's causing delays in downtown Jersey City. Your Hudson River crossings, Lincoln and Holland both reporting 35-minute delays, and that's all due to volume. GWB upper and lower right now, we have a problem. Lower level has a breakdown. That's going to slow things down. So your lower levels on the left, upper levels on the right. We're talking 40 to 45-minute crossover time. 8:20 is our time. Montclair's MC Hotel. Know exactly where it is. I used to live in North Caldwell, right next door. They continue to play a major role in the energy of the town of Montclair. It's a great place. And joining us this morning from the MC Hotel are Dan Drohan, the chef of Allegory, Splendid Rooftop, and the recently debuted Campofiore at the MC, along with Percy Rodriguez, who is the COO of Stout NYC Hospitality Group. They're here to talk about the opening of Campofiore and more. We say good morning, Dan and Percy.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Ken?
Good. Good to have you both on. I know your place like the back of my hand. We used to go there at least every other week, and it's so great. And the rooftop is so amazing. Great view, right in the perfect. You're right near the museum. For those that don't know that part of Montclair, Campofiore is now open, welcoming guests. How's it going so far?
Well, we're not open just yet. We're opening on December 17th. So we're giving everyone previews of on our social media handles of what's to come. As with any development, there's always going to be some delays, but we're very excited that officially we're going to be open on December 17th.
I apologize. We had some info that was not updated. So how does Campofiore shift the culinary identity that you've created at the MC Hotel? Because there are a lot of Italian restaurants and Italian themed restaurants in northern New Jersey, and especially in the area around Montclair. So it's tough to come in to that area with an Italian, right? Even upscale, when you're competing against so many. So what's that like coming in with that?
Go ahead, Dan.
I've been cooking Italian food for the last 20 years, and I just want to keep it simple, and been working with the same farmers for the last 20 years. We cure our own salami. We make all our own pasta. I've been lucky enough to have the same team with me for the past 15 or 20 years. I have a great pastry chef named Kazimir Putarovic who will be making all the homemade gelato, and just want to keep it simple and put out good food at a good price.
Amen. And that's tough, right? I know that I've had several friends who are restaurateurs. They had restaurants in Nutley, they had Montclair, they had et cetera. And some of them go in with a very high-end desire, and they're like, "Oh, we'll charge. We're not going to do. We certainly wouldn't do veal parm or chicken parm because they wouldn't do that in Italy," which I understand. But then they say, "But we're going to charge 50 for a beef braciole," and they go out of business in 6 months. So that's a tough call, because as much as you want to educate people and show them this is real European food or real Italian food, then you also realize you're in suburbia, and it's a tough balance. How do you maintain that balance? Because you still have a bottom line.
Just buying great ingredients and doing, as little as possible to it. And trying to keep the price fair to people come in. Often we have antipastis that are all around $10. The pastas are all in the low $20 range. I don't think there's anything on the menu that's over $32. But yeah, just keeping everything as simple as possible, buying great ingredients and letting them speak for themselves.
I speak from personal experience. I'm sorry to step. I was just going to say I speak from personal experience coming in. Your staff is as courteous as could be. The place is as elegant as could be. It's just a hip, cool vibe. And the food, every time I've eaten anything there, the cocktails, amazing. The place is an experience. It really is. I'm sorry to step on you. Please continue.
No, and we look forward to having you back soon, so you can see some of the things we've been implementing and changing at the MC Hotel. I think just to kind of take what Dan said just a little bit further, Campofiore is reverentially Italian. I think a lot of people toss around the word authentic, but there's something to be said for Chef Dan's cooking and this, the embrace of the slow food Italian movement that I don't really think you see anywhere in the area. Yes, there are a lot of Italian restaurants and really great restaurants in general throughout the state. But I think it's really important to call out it's not necessarily the technique, but once you have these quality ingredients, there's very little that you have to do to make them sing on the plates that we have at Campofiore that we cannot wait for everyone to see.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. I can't wait till you guys are open up with that. And the MC Hotel, you've become such a great part of the community. You have partnerships with the Montclair Film Festival, the Montclair Art Museum, which is right up the street, Seton Hall, of course, and more. And how do you feel the collaborations impact the hotel's footprint for Montclair and the region?
Well, one of our core tenets of Stout NYC Hospitality is the community. I think it's such an important aspect of not necessarily building community, but being a part of it. And we've been, as someone who's not from Montclair, I've been blown away by all the opportunity for culture, whether it's the Montclair Film Festival, the museum, like you said, the Wellmont down the street. We're very happy to be participating in the Winter Wonderland at the Wellmont this weekend. So I think it really is. We're honored and we're grateful that the community has welcomed us as much as they have. And we look to be just another part of it where people can celebrate their graduations at the university or any family achievement or wedding. It's really a wonderful town, and we are so grateful that we get to be part of it.
Yeah. I mean, the cool thing about Montclair is you're so close to New York. You have all the express buses and the trains and whatnot that get into New York, and you have the university, of course. So whenever you have a university town, you have a little level of sophistication. There's a cool kind of an urban vibe that you get, right? And then you have the elegant Upper Montclair. So you have that beautiful blend of everything. Certainly, it's diverse. You have an ethnic diversity in the city of everybody's represented. That's the cool thing too. It's like walking down Manhattan when you walk down the streets of Montclair. What can guests look forward to next? Is there anything more beyond? Not that Campo Fiore isn't a huge thing, but what's coming up after that? You have something on the horizon?
So we are doing a tree lighting in the rotunda over the next couple of weeks at the MC Hotel. We're transitioning and getting all the decor up, and I think a lot of what we've been doing at the Allegory and Splendid again is doing our part to develop the community. We're bringing back live music in Allegory every Friday and Saturday nights. The Splendid Rooftop, which used to be called Alto, but now that we're managing the space, the Splendid Rooftop is this sporting club with great cocktails, great atmosphere for whether you're watching the game or you're really just wanting a nice cocktail and watching the sunset.
This is and having I don't mean to cut it short. We're up on a hard break, so I want to just remind everybody: Montclair's MC Hotel, Dan Drohan, chef of Allegory, Splendid Rooftop, and soon to debut Campo Fiore, and Percy Rodriguez, COO of Stout New York City Hospitality Group. Thanks both for coming on, and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you,
Happy
Ken.
Thanksgiving. Thank you.
You bet. And we're coming right back.
Hey, New Jersey, want to choose how you live as you age? Tune into AARP New Jersey's new show, The Power of Us, the show that celebrates aging with dignity, purpose, and joy. From protecting yourself against fraud, to staying healthy and aging in place, to finding purpose through volunteering, we've got the tools, tips, and stories to help you thrive. Join us on ONNJ and discover the power of us.
November 39 degrees now at 8:30. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to ONNJ Jersey Mornings. Clouds today, occasional rain in the afternoon, highs low 50s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the detailed Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
So yeah, we're talking. We just had the good folks from MC Hotel. We had to cut it right at the end. We didn't cut it short. It's just that the time ran out at that point because of our commercial breaks coming up. But it was very cool. If you've never been to the MC Hotel, especially at the holidays, it is a very cool Soho, Lower Manhattan, villagey feel. Very kind of urban chic. Montclair has that feel overall. But
It
that
does.
hotel literally is a microcosm of the microcosm. It really fits right where it is in Montclair. Very sophisticated, very cool place to check out.
That's the best. That's the best. It sounds great. And it's, I think, one of those places you'd want to go, especially to stay in that festive mood, especially with some kind of gray skies around today. You get the dreary feeling with the cloudy skies in place right now, the rain this afternoon, but that festive cheer visiting the hotel will look nice, especially as we enter the holiday season, as the cold weather takes over. You can see the clouds, they're already in place as the sun rises, reflecting off the cloud tops, the dim shades of gray there, kind of reflecting the mood, a little bit of a gray sky outside this morning with a light breeze, but the winds pick up by this afternoon, and especially in South Jersey at the shore where those winds will be coming in right off of the water, allowing for that rain to get going as soon as noon, lasting through the afternoon, progressively getting steadier as temperatures hold in the 50s. Now notice, the record is 73 degrees, and we may come close to that, especially in central and southern New Jersey tomorrow afternoon, even if we get a break of sun before the sun sets, because that warm front is going to pull in some very warm air ahead of that cold front, which sharply drops temperatures in time for Thanksgiving morning. So you see the clouds in place right now. They are holding steady into tomorrow, with bringing it with it some rain throughout this afternoon and this evening. The heaviest of the rain just in time for the evening commute, because that always seems to happen. What a coincidence. And then by tomorrow, we start off tomorrow morning very mild and stay mild into the afternoon. Then as this rush of cold air comes in with the front, dropping temperatures several tens of degrees by Thursday morning. Thanksgiving morning starts chilly, right around freezing. The wind chill makes it feel like the teens and 20s, and it's windy but sunny all day on Thanksgiving, heading into Friday with even colder weather ahead, and that chill lingers, I think, into the upcoming weekend. So the warm front passing on by later on tonight, doing its job, bringing in the rain and milder weather. And then here's the cold front drawn in blue, crossing New Jersey by tomorrow evening, dropping temperatures just in time for Turkey Day and keeping it chilly all throughout the weekend. I think Black Friday might even have some snow showers here and flurries early in the morning, and then transitioning to just plain old sunny and cold weather headed into the upcoming weekend. The 7-day forecast has that drop in temperatures growing from the 60s, maybe even upper 60s in central New Jersey, down into the 40s as a high on Thanksgiving Day. But again, it's going to feel colder with that wind. And the rest of the week into the weekend staying chilly, with highs struggling to leave the 40s, even every morning down in the 20s. And then I think with the shore points looking a little bit milder still, with that cold shot of air coming in for Thanksgiving Day. Can't head anywhere to escape the cold, at least in New Jersey, Ken, but you can obviously go elsewhere. We'll tell you where.
Yeah.
Coming up with a check of your extended forecast across the country. See where the Climate Prediction Center says it'll be warmer than average coming up.
Lauderdale, please, Fort Lauderdale. All right, my friend. Thank you. Yes, really. I promise. Thank you, Mike. It is 40 degrees now, northern New Jersey, 41 in Trenton. In terms of traffic, I-76 still has that crash. It's getting better. They're gradually opening up one lane after another because that was totally shut down. You could see emergency vehicles on both sides of the highway in both directions right now. But this is I-76 westbound, east of exit 1C, Market Street, Gloucester City. The left shoulder now remains closed. Literally, you can see where in the middle of the screen is what we're talking about, the left shoulder coming towards you. That was everything half an hour ago that was closed. So that's getting better, but still slow. Give yourselves extra travel time or avoid that road altogether if you can. Garden State Parkway, we have issues now. There's a crash on the Garden State Parkway southbound. Actually, we've been reporting on this too. This is south of exit 143C, which is Route 124 Irvington. 2 left lanes blocked on the Garden State Parkway at 143C. And you can see that on the right side of your screen, the upper right corner. Those are bumper to bumper cars as a result of that. We have a problem now in Jersey City. Downtown Jersey City has a disabled vehicle on 12th Street, eastbound by Erie Street in downtown. 2 center lanes blocked, and that's causing a mess in downtown JC right now. Over to the Hudson River crossings, the Lincoln and Holland both have 35-minute crossover times, all due to volume. The GWB now has a right lane blocked in the lower level as you cross over. So the lower level's on the left. That's your approach on the left. And the upper level's on the right. Both are going to cost you about 45 minutes into Manhattan. 8:36 with Thanksgiving just 2 days away. Many of us are getting ready to travel, if you haven't done so already, and gather with family. So you have to figure out what to wear, right? Well, Anita Davenport is the founder and creative director of Single Tree Lane, a woman-owned wearable art fashion brand. We say good morning to Anita.
Good morning, Ken.
Good to have you on. So what is a simple, versatile outfit to take you from the airport straight to Thanksgiving? Because, just yesterday, Sean Duffy, the Secretary of Transportation, talked about setting a new standard for flights. So don't wear your dirty, stained sweats anymore, because guess what? We don't want to see them. I'm tired of seeing sweats with holes and dirty socks. What are you thinking? It's like people travel like they're in a college dorm. It's disgusting. Not that you have to dress up in fancy hats, but at least have a little dignity. You're in public. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. And I always dress up when I go to the airport. And my clothing is very travel friendly. So it's wrinkle resistant, very comfy, 2-way stretch, very colorful. So it's attention getting. It makes you feel good and peppy and ready to take those early morning flights sometimes. So yeah.
Not only are you a beautiful lady, but I see those beautiful outfits behind you. Clearly, you have great taste, and I love the colors. Talk about Single Tree Lane. When did you start it, and what was the impetus behind it? Because this sounds amazing.
Well, I've been in fashion design for 10 years, almost 10 years. Single Tree Lane is my 7th brand, and my lifestyle brand, kind of the umbrella brand that holds everything else underneath it. And it was my response to coming out of COVID lockdowns, and I felt like we needed some color therapy, because color is healing. And so I was like, we need to just live out loud and just bring back in that happiness.
100%. It just makes a difference. It's like the colors behind you right there pop, and what you're wearing just pops, and it just immediately your eyes are drawn to it. 100%. I mean, this is television. I worked for Channel 7 for 20 years. It was all about what colors pop. And one of the, for people here, we'll let a little secret out. See this color blue that I have behind me? Whenever they do surveys and tests with audiences, this shade of blue right there is the one that people catch more than anything. I don't know if it's that we have more cones or rods in our eyes. And apparently, if you look Channel 7, Channel 2, they all go with that color because it makes people stop. It draws you in. And I see what you're wearing has what color?
Yes.
Same color. And it's attractive. It catches the eye right away. So now the beautiful thing is not only does your stuff look amazing, but it's comfortable. How do you make something so comfortable that is wrinkle resistant and looks so good?
Well, over 70% of my catalog is made from recycled plastic bottles, and that fabric is actually made up from athletic wear fabric. So I tell people, anything you can do in a swimsuit, you could do in my clothes. And I have slept in them. I have done yoga in them. So super comfy, 2-way stretch. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you know what? Now we got the holidays upon us. So walk us through kind of a look that can get us from travel ready to holiday ready in minutes. Because it's just like adding an accessory or adding one more piece of clothing to change from the comfort of the plane to going to a dinner, right?
Well, layering is very important for what I design. So when I start subset collection, there's 4 to 6 items that I'll create around a particular design like this one. You'll find 4 to 6 things that coordinate with it. So that starts from a cardigan to a top like this to white leg pants, which I'm also wearing. And if you need to put something else on top of that. So I come from Northern California, so I'm probably the only one out of state. And we have microclimates, so I have to dress in layers all the time.
I hear you. I love Northern California is, I think, the prettiest part of California, by the way. Santa Cruz, I know that area. I have friends out there, and it's like when you go in that area north, it's gorgeous, gorgeous. What is there a specific piece that you would recommend for the holiday weekend coming up, or like are you into prints, printed sweatshirts? What do you recommend?
Well, everything I have is very colorful and vibrant, and I design all of the prints that are in my store. So I have over 1,000 products right now. So everything from bucket hats like you see behind me to shoes. So I've got a lot of things, a lot of options. So everything is going to work. So whether you want a wearable art sweatshirt, which I have some behind me, that you can wear, they're unisex. So men and women can wear them. And as a woman as well, you could wear it as a mini dress. And so I do that. I'll buy them, wear them oversized as a mini dress. So yeah, very, very versatile. They're conversation starters. So if you're a shy person, people will flock to you and ask you questions about what you're wearing and where you got it from.
That is awesome. We got about 30 seconds left. I need to just quickly ask you, you said you use recycled bottles? That's amazing. Where do you even
Yeah.
get this stuff? And how do you turn that into fabric?
Well, it's working with, I have probably 6 to 7 different manufacturers that I work with. And so when they offer recycled fabrics, I hone in on those because as being from California and being near the beach, as you mentioned, Santa Cruz, I'm only 45 minutes from Santa Cruz. Beach is very important to me. And that's one of the charities that my brand also supports with every purchase is our environmental causes.
I love it. You're awesome. What is a website for more information, Anita?
ShopSingleTree.com.
And I will do so today. Anita Davenport, the founder and creative director of Single Tree Lane. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for coming on this morning. You've got a great brand
Thank you,
there, and
and
I
happy
just love your
Thanksgiving.
personality.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Right. You have a great day and a good holiday. And we are coming right back to talk with the CEO and founder of the Coalition for Food and Health Equity about folks struggling to put food on the table this Thanksgiving. Don't go away. Welcome back to ONNJ Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:45. We got a minute or two for phone calls if you'd like to sneak one in at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
Hello, Mike. I was just telling Pam, our director, our last guest, Anita, her energy is infectious. What a personality, and her clothing is so beautiful. I love getting relatively new designers with great concepts, and I just love Izzy, our producer, got her on, and I just think it was great. It was good to see because I have no fashion sense at all, as is evidenced by this. So I just love people who know this stuff and who just like they have an image in their heads and they can execute it. Just so cool to see.
That's why I married Stephanie, somebody who does this for a living. I don't have to pick out clothes
That's right.
anymore. It just
So
gets
she's
delivered and said, try
she's a
this
buyer?
on. A buyer, the director at Macy's.
So
So she
cool.
has her team of people that work with her to buy all of the jewels and gemstones that you would see in every Macy's across the country. So
Do you know that I used to be a men's suit department Red Flower, which was an assistant manager at Macy's New Rochelle back in the day, about
What?
100 years ago. Yeah, that's
Was
my
it
moment of
Bamberger's back
management.
then?
No, well, that would have been in New Jersey. I was in New
Oh,
York. I
okay.
was in New
Got
Rochelle.
it.
We didn't have Bamberger's in New York. That was a New
I
Jersey
see.
thing. We were like,
I
what
see.
is Bamberger's is way over there.
Way over there. Well, it still is about
Very
3 hours
cool.
with traffic on the then Tappan Zee.
Yes,
So yes. So here we are.
very true.
Starting off with some rain, with some wind. Ken, it's going to be a wet start to the day. So fashion important, especially the warm clothing and the rainproof gear, especially with that heavy rain throughout this afternoon and this evening, just in time for the evening rush. So as temperatures climb into the 50s today, it'll feel chilly all throughout the next few hours and even into tomorrow, even though temperatures warm a little bit. But look what happens for the first week of December. There is colder than average weather expected for us here in New Jersey. Have to head way down south, and I mean like to the tip of Florida, to enjoy some warmer weather for the first week of December, at least warmer than average. So that'll feel nice. But here in New Jersey, anticipating a slightly higher than average chances of rain going into the first week of December. The 7-day shows the big warm up tomorrow into the upper 60s in places, maybe near 70 when that rain ends tomorrow afternoon and brings back some clear sky, and then the temperature falls out from underneath us. I mean, we're talking about temperatures feeling like the teens and 20s Thanksgiving morning, feeling like the 30s all day. It'll struggle just to make it to the 40s, staying chilly enough on Friday to allow for some snow flurries, and then it's dry and clear all weekend. Now, by Monday and Tuesday next week, the first 2 days of December, wet weather on the way, but that is a little surprising, a 25-degree morning low come Tuesday morning. So yeah, the cold is kind of settling in here across New Jersey again.
All right, Mike, thank you very much, sir. And is this our final? Yeah, we don't have it tomorrow, right?
That's right. So happy Thanksgiving.
So happy Thanksgiving to you and your beautiful family, Mike. I will see you again Monday, 17 pounds heavier. Me, I mean. All right, bud. We appreciate you. Enjoy. Thank you very much, Mike. We'll catch you again. It is 42 degrees northern New Jersey, 41 degrees in Trenton. For those who are saying, what are they talking about? We are assembling pre-recorded shows for the holidays for the next few days. So what you will be seeing are pre-taped segments, etc., so that our families can enjoy Thanksgiving as well. But we will have programming and it'll be different, so including a lot of cooking segments. So enjoy it. It is now 8:49. Quick traffic check. We go back to I-76 eastbound, east of exit 1C, Market Street, Gloucester City. The right shoulder is still closed, so that was entirely closed down a little while ago. You could see rubbernecking on the opposite side there. But much better than it was. Hopefully in the next half hour, that'll be 100% cleared up. Route 21 northbound has delays from north of exit 13, Ackerman Avenue to exit 14, Route 46 in Clifton. All lanes are open, but things are a little slow. Hudson River crossings, Lincoln and Holland still reporting 30 to 35 minutes to cross into Manhattan. GWB upper and lower levels. We have a crash on the lower level, and that is causing some delays. Lower levels on the left. So you see that's moving a little more slowly. Upper levels, a better bet. It'll save you about 5 minutes. Either way, it's going to be 40 to 45 getting into Manhattan. 8:50, families across New Jersey will gather around the table this week. We've been talking about this, but for so many, access to healthy, nourishing food remains a challenge every single day of their lives. Dr. Legia Carter is the CEO and founder of the Coalition for Food and Health Equity, and she is helping to redesign food access as a fundamental part of community health and wellness. And we say good morning and happy Thanksgiving to Dr. Carter.
Good morning, Ken, and happy early Thanksgiving to you too.
Yes. Thank you, doctor. And please talk about food insecurity in New Jersey, because we have that dichotomy of we're next to the biggest, wealthiest city in America, probably on the planet, and you have people here struggling to put food on the table. And it just seems like it just should never be the case when we have such wealth and so much food abundance in this country.
Yeah, absolutely. When we think about food insecurity, we need to think about food insecurity as the symptom of a larger issue, that folks just don't become food insecure. We have a system that by design makes it challenging to afford to live. So when we're looking at food insecure households and individuals, we also see that folks are struggling to have affordable healthcare, to pay for their healthcare, to pay their rent. When we're thinking about just having a good working wage in order to live, so that way folks are not having to pick between rent, medical bills, and food. That's how we can really understand the cause and kind of the symptomology of food insecurity, regardless of where someone lives, right? And it's unfortunate that it is very common for us to see higher rates of food insecurity in areas where there's abundance and that wealth gap and that living gap.
Because everybody has to keep up with the Joneses, right? And they end up making something go by the wayside. And sadly, food all too often is an afterthought. And boom, then you realize, oh, you go to the market and it's $200 to shop for relatively basic groceries for a family of four.
Mhm.
And you're like, where am I going to get $200? It's a real struggle. And your organization centers dignity for families and individuals. So talk about what that looks like.
Yeah, the first thing is that for us at the coalition, we believe that it is your birthright to be able to eat and eat what you need, not just to live, but to be healthy. And if we all were able to do that, that would be amazing. But the other thing too is that in the work that we do when it comes to food security, we never want someone to feel that they're getting a handout or they're second class in some way, right? We center humanity and the humanness of the person. So in all of our programs, whether that's our Ujama Cafe community fridge program, it looks like a vending machine. It doesn't look like an afterthought. It's pretty, it's pink, and it has fresh, healthful, and nutritious food from our local restaurants, whom we also support and invest in order to build up a healthy community. So that way, when folks are going to the Jama Cafe fridge, they just, hey, this is something I need. I need to grab a sandwich or a parfait. And it feels like they're right to do that, right? It feels like they're right and power to do that. Even with our farm stand program that we've recently launched, it looks like a beautiful farmer's market. It's free. Folks can come and get produce and staple goods that they need weekly. However, it looks like a beautiful farmer's market. It doesn't look like a handout or anything like that. I think the other piece of this is that how we collaborate with folks and how we work with community helps us create programs and services that align with the community's needs and what the community wants to see and feel. So one phrase we have here at the team is that feedback is a gift. And so with any of our programs, whether it's a farm stand or Ujama Cafe program, if somebody emails us and says, hey, you didn't have enough radishes last week at the produce market, at the farm stand, or, you have these food items in the fridge, but I really would like to see salad or more quinoa. Then we take that seriously because these programs are not about us. It's for the community to be able to be healthy and to eat well and not have to make those decisions between paying for their chemotherapy treatment and paying for their groceries for the week.
And the fact that you emphasize that the healthful foods is so essential because all too many years we've had in especially financially challenged communities crappy food, let's just say what it is, crappy, processed, packaged, pre-made, shelf-stable for 20-year food, that is not what our bodies were made to consume on a sustainable, regular basis, right? I mean, that's fine in a pinch, one time, but that is not your cells crave real, live, fresh food and lots of vegetables and lots of fruits. And that processed stuff that's on a shelf that was boiled out of existence 20 years ago, that is not what should be what sustains us on a daily basis.
Yeah, and the issue, the challenge is that those good, just nutritious foods are expensive. Are expensive. And especially, we're just thinking about our older adult population who are living on a limited income, right? A restricted income. They still have their daily living expenses. And we know that if they have access to more healthful, nutritious options, that would help with how they feel and help with managing any chronic illnesses or anything like that. But the reality is that it is expensive. We estimate that just at our farm stand program, folks are able to come in and get free produce that probably estimates to about $60 a bag for their one visit. And when you're working with older adults that have a limited and restricted income, and maybe some are SNAP recipients and they're maybe getting around $90 to $100 a month for their groceries, if they shopped produce like that every week and had to pay for it, they don't have any more benefits, right? And so the reality is this is expensive for people to eat and live well.
I don't mean to cut you off, Dr. Only because we're at the end of the show here. So what is a website for people to get more information or to help out?
Yeah, absolutely. Folks can visit us online at www.coalitionequity.org, as well as on Instagram with the same name.
Well, that is awesome. Everything you do is amazing. Dr. Legia Carter, CEO and founder of the Coalition for Food and Health Equity. Thank you for coming on this morning, and a good Thanksgiving, good Thanksgiving to you, Doctor.
Thank you. You too, Ken.
Thank you. All right. And that is our show. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We thank you for tuning in and making this a successful year that we've had so far. We'll catch you again tomorrow morning. We will be on through the holidays. Have a good one. Thanks for watching ON New Jersey.